Hey there! Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thank you for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, it is. It is late May 1983. It is May 27th, 1983, Vincent Price's birthday and my last day of employment at the Sherry Lehman Wines and Spirits chain gang. Yes, my first day of employment at Sherry Lehman was on Boris Karloff's birthday. So I am personally thrilled that my employment at the booze store is bookended by the birthday celebrations of two of my favorite horror stars. Yes, so I left the booze store with little or no fanfare. That Friday night, at the end of the shift, I walked around, said goodbye to everybody, talked to Patricia, the one woman on staff. I enjoyed her company, and said goodbye to Harold Cherry, my dystopian literary hero. And I talked with Morgan, the forest elf, and of course my favorite, Lewis, the secret agent. Yes, they all bid fond farewell. And then I went up to Carolyn. I went up to Sandra. Carolyn? Who's that? I went up to Sandra in the office, beautiful Sandra in the office. And I said goodbye to her, and I thanked her for being so kind and gracious. She was not the big boss, but I always considered her to be my boss and supervisor. I'll never forget her kindness. Anyhow, so I walked out of the booze store onto Madison Avenue, and I felt this lightness, this helium inside me that made me feel bigger and brighter and stronger and braver. I felt like this bearable lightness of being was filling me up. Uh, Now it really wasn't that bad in the booze store. It really wasn't that bad working there, but I felt like I was getting out of prison. I did. Well, now it's the next day. It's the 28th, and it's a Saturday, and I'm having my last date with my New York sweetheart, Julie. So we agree that we're going to meet at a restaurant not too far from her father's East Side Railroad style apartment. Right. So we meet over at this lovely, cozy, dark bar. Very nice. Had a couple of drinks, and then we had dinner. We had steak. Oh, a rarity in New York, but that was pretty good, I'll tell you that. With baked potato and everything. Old fashioned. Fantastic meal. Right. Then we went out. We went for a little stroll around the neighborhood. Went to another bar. Had a couple more drinks. And that was lovely. We listened to the music. Yes. And then we went and we said, let's just go up to the apartment. So we went to her dad's place. He was out of town. He's up at the Long Island property, thank heavens. So we don't have to worry about him showing up and ruining everything. And we go into the apartment and we go into the living room, and she puts on some jazz on the cassette player, and we sit on the comfy sofa, squeeze in next to each other. It's very romantic. And we look smokily at each other, and she says, we have to talk about something. Great. Nothing good ever comes of after a sentence like that. So, as it turns out, her father, although he likes me, does not approve of me as a suitor for his daughter. And his daughter, being the good daughter that she is, does not want to go against her father's wishes. Heavens, shades of Magdalena! I know. So I said, so we're breaking up? She said, this was our last date anyway. You're leaving town. You won't be back for months. She says, I don't want to hold you responsible. You might meet somebody. What if you meet somebody? What if I meet somebody? I can't guarantee that I'm going to be responsible for. So let's just look, we've had so much fun together. Let's just, I mean, I like you, she said. I do, I really do, but we're not in love. We're not. So let's just end this on a high note as fun friends. Well, who can argue with clear logic like that? So we had raucous sex all over the apartment, up and down in various rooms all night long. Now it's the next morning, and we go for brunch and mimosas. Oh, it was a lovely sunny day, and we had a continental breakfast with some sort of muffin and the like, and some mimosas over at this one place over there. Right. And it was very nice. And then we went down, and she walked me to the subway platform. Yes. So we could say goodbye to each other right on the train platform, just like in the movies. I know. So we are down on the train platform, unabashedly making out. Yes. Apparently, I'm over that little anxiousness about public displays of affection anymore. We are just smooching it up like crazy. All right. Well, the train roars into the station, eventually stops. The doors open. We give each other one nice, rich, warm embrace and a little smooch. And I run onto the train and watch the closing doors, and the doors shut. And we're looking at each other through the sooty glass, and we're waving, and the train starts to move, and so she starts to trot along next to it, waving. She's saying goodbye, goodbye, and it's picking up speed, and she starts to run along. She's saying goodbye, darling, and then she's running by the train as the train roars into the tunnel. Goodbye, darling. And I'm like alone on the train, and I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened? Did she Did she make me fall in love with her? I mean, hey, those were some good kisses. Oh, you brown eyed beauty. So, welcome to your next heartache in New York City. Great. But then, wait a minute. This heartache didn't have enough time to turn into a full blown depression. I mean, I'm leaving town. Uh, uh, Julie and I knew that we weren't going to be seeing each other. I'm going to be 700 miles away. I'm going to be getting a vacation from the Big Bad Apple, and I'm going to get paid to act. This is the beginning of a full blown session of joy. It is. So I go and get myself a bus ticket for Terre Haute, Indiana. I love the bus. I love the bus. I do. And I love the train too. I do love the train. I don't love the plane. No, I don't. No. But I love the bus. And it's so much easier to smuggle marijuana onto a bus than it is onto a plane. Let's be honest. Right. Well, anyhow, I get a great big duffel bag. My dad's old duffel bag from the war, World War II. Yes. And I got a great big laundry bag with all my clothes in it, and I got a book bag with a bunch of books in it and music, and that's what I got, 3 big bags. And I go down to Port Authority bus station at 10 o'clock at night, right? And then you stand around and breathe the fumes of the buses at the bus station. Apparently, that's sort of a prerequisite. Apparently, that's required, that you sit and just breathe it in for a while before you're allowed to get on the bus. And then they allow you to get on the bus, and then I go back and I pick a nice seat. I put on my stuff and sit down for a nice, exciting trip into the unknown. So it's a beautiful moonlit night. And as we're traveling the countryside, once we get out of the city and it's not all the light pollution, you can actually see the moonlight falling on the various neighborhoods as you cut through, as the bus drives through the neighborhoods. It's delightful. It is. It's so beautiful. And so I'm sitting there watching the countryside go by, and we're through New Jersey and we're into Pennsylvania and the foothills of the Appalachians. It's so beautiful. Next thing I know, it's broad daylight. I must have fallen asleep for hours because it's a sunny, warm, sunny morning, and you can tell it's already going to be a hot day. Yes, it is. So we're somewhere in Ohio, and we're driving along, and so I pull out. I got a yogurt, and I got a granola. I crunch up the granola into the yogurt. It's a meal in a cup. It's fantastic. And then I get out my Walkman. I've got my Walkman, yes, with the little earphones, and I put that on. If you remember Walkmans, if you ever had a Walkman, comment and subscribe and share this out to somebody else who had a Walkman. Yes. Yes, I had my Walkman and I'm listening to my little cassette, and I put on Wagner's Tannhäuser Overture. The Tannhäuser Overture has always said to me, and it says it in the music. It's just really that way, but it says that everything is going to work out all right. I love that piece of music. It's very reassuring and life affirming and everything like that. So I'm listening to that. Anyhow, we get to Terre Haute at around 11:30 a.m. and it is a scorcher of a day when I get out of the bus station at Terre Haute, and I take a short walk over to the campus. Terre Haute is a smallish town. Many of the walks are not particularly long, but I walk over to the campus carrying my bags on this hot morning, and I roam around until I find a sign that says something about the theater. So I plop down all my stuff in the shade, and I wait for the storm to come. Yes. Well, eventually, my boss and correspondent Gary shows up. Hey, and he takes me over to the dormitory where I'm staying. We're going to be put up in the student dorms for the Indiana State University. Yes, this is all on the ISU campus. Yes. So I drop off all my stuff and we go back to the theater, and suddenly there's a whole throng of people, and Suzanne's there too. Hooray, it's so good to see her. And there's all sorts of locals, and there's five of us bring-ins from New York City. There's three other men and one woman, and I immediately forgot all the men's names except the woman whose name was Gail, a petite redhead, and and then there was a bunch of very interesting locals, and we milled around for a while, and Gary said, all right, tonight's the big audition. We'll see you all there. And so this was just a very brief, as they call it, a meet and a greet, because that's all you had time to do before everybody scattered to the wind, and I was standing there alone again on the campus. So I went back and looked at my script. Now it's that night. And we're having a big audition in the theater where we will be working. This is my new theater home for the summer. It's so exciting, and all the locals were there, and a lot of talent, and so we got to show the out of town ringers got to show off to the locals what we had, and then the locals got to show the out of town ringers what they had, and we had a lot of reading scenes together. People were laughing. It was very enjoyable and a long night of auditioning. It was, and one of the locals was a dreadfully attractive young woman by the name of Annie, and we were chatting, and as she walked away, she slapped me on my posterior, whack, and walked away. I immediately crushed on her, of course. Oh no. Trouble. Well, anyhow, I met my scene partner from the Fantastics. I'm playing Mortimer, and the man playing Henry was a very imposing chap by the name of Larry. He was over 6 feet tall, and And as I saw from the auditions, a very commanding actor. I looked forward to spending time with that dude. Yes. And there was another guy named Larry, who was also one of the bring ins, and another guy named John, who was another one of the bring ins. And we all seemed to hit it off very well. It was very nice. And so that was the first night of auditions. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened after all of that next time. All right. As ever, thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking with you and seeing you next time. All right.